Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm sorry I'm late in posting, but I just wanted to watch the remaining two games to see maybe if I can see something different wrong with Barcelona. But we don't have really much problems other than we talked about in the previous video, the 5. I'm just going to add 7 more problems that Barcelona has. So can you hear 7 problems? So in total, that will be 12 problems that Barcelona has. But before we get into all of that, please do subscribe to the channel, as that's going to be helping us a lot to get the family to grow. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. So the next problem I have, or that I see from Barcelona, is we don't have players that runs in behind enough. Like against Almeria, you know, when Ferran Torres came on, he was running in behind constantly, right? And he caused a lot of problems. And I think Ferran Torres needs to be starting. He should get an opportunity to start. And I think Xavi, he should give it to Ferran Torres, right? I also see a lot of runs from Gundogan, right? Making from deep, he makes those runs in behind. And that's the problem. If the guys are either not running enough, or when they do run in behind, they don't get the ball simply from these guys and they don't put it in behind. How on earth are you going to get through the low blocks if you don't make runs in behind? And that's why Barcelona are struggling so much to get through these low blocks that teams often have against us, because we don't run in behind, right? We need to see more of it. Sergio Roberto against Almeria was really a breath of fresh air, the way he was running. That ball where Robert Lewandowski came deep and he ran ahead of him, and Lewandowski gave him the ball and we scored. And that is something that we need to address. Xavi need to make sure that we do these things where the guys go in behind the defense, run straight through them and give the guys the ball. I often see Rafinha do this quite a lot as well, where maybe the likes of Fermin runs ahead of him, and then for Rafinha is the one who gives the ball. How are we going to get crosses to Robert Lewandowski? And this is why I think that Lewandowski, this is why maybe he doesn't score, because the ball don't get into these areas where the team can look to find Robert Lewandowski. Right? I obviously don't blame Lewandowski. I blame Xavi for the fact that Lewandowski is not scoring the goals. And that is something that we need. We need the movement. This is why I talk all the time about the double pivot. We don't have movement. We become really static. There's no runs in behind. There's always the ball. You know, the center backs have way too much ball for me. These guys, there's so many balls that get passed around between the center backs and the midfield. The ball don't arrive enough with the forwards and in the final third. And when last have you seen these guys overlap? I mean, overlap where the guys receive the ball in the half space and then drawing these players narrow, and then our fullbacks overlap. We don't see that anymore from Barcelona. The last time I've seen that was literally Joao Cancelo in the Champions League when he was man of the match, and Jordi Alba used to run, you know, where the likes of Neymar would receive the ball in these areas, then our fullbacks overlaps. We do not see that, guys. We don't. If it does happen where the guys do running behind, they don't get the ball. They don't get the ball. I don't know why. What is the problem there? So we need to start running in behind, guys. You know, now this inconsistent tactics, this is something that I really hate about Xavi. You know, I do like him as a manager. He really is overthinking, which is a great thing, you know, because that means it bothers him. He's like a Guardiola, right? But his inconsistent tactics really is a problem to me. For an example, the other day I was noticing how Koundé was excellent where Lamine Yamal, I think it was Rafinha, where you saw the centre backs overlapping and going forward and making or creating these triangles with on either side of the wings, right? But then the next game, when you see again, they just stay back. They just stay back, right? So it's confusing to the players. I think now this game they do that and the next game they do that. It's confusing to the players, right? Why wouldn't you, if you see that Koundé is good at overlapping, why don't you do it in the next game as well? Why don't you just do something and it's something that if it's working, it's great. Now, Joao Cancelo being on the left, for an example, is another great thing for Barcelona, because he's working well with Joao Felix. Have you noticed when Joao Cancelo went back to the right side, suddenly Joao Felix just became dead? Why are you changing this? Because Koundé played good on the right side, overlapping. Joao Cancelo is great on the left side, connecting with Joao Felix. Now you're changing it. Now the guys are underperforming. right? So it's these inconsistent tactics. It's really bothering me. It's to my core, you know. And I also get this feeling where if Xavi, let's say Xavi plays Ferran Torres, then we play a whole different way. If Xavi plays Lamine Yamal, we play a whole different way. If we play Rafinha, if we play Balde is another one that he should just go to the B team again. Balde does not know what to do on this left wing. He's always in these areas right over here, right? And then the next game when you see Cancelo is way forward on the touchline. Is Xavi maybe playing towards the abilities of the players, or what is he doing there? Because it is not working for us. We have too many inconsistent tactics where the guys are doing this in this game, and then in the next game they do that. So we really need to like get like a consistency for the tactics, let the guys grow into the system. But I feel like Xavi is changing too much. The one game we're playing with 3 center backs, and the next one we have 2 center backs, right? What's up with that? What, you know, so this is why the players are underperforming, because there's no consistency with the tactics even, right? So I don't know, I really don't know how we play. So Barcelona is also very unpredictable. We don't know what to expect from Barcelona. This game we play good. Did you see against Almeria in the first half? Everything was dead. Then Xavi made changes. Then I think he came out and he said that will never happen, you know, the changes that he made and stuff like that. I remember reading something like that. So the inconsistent tactics of Barcelona is a huge stumbling block for us. A second ago I talked about underperforming players, but like I just mentioned a few seconds ago as well, that a lot of the tactics is really the reason why we are underperforming. I know Robert Lewandowski has been getting a lot of chances, but it's not clear-cut chances, and there's not chances where I know there's a few that he should absolutely bury, but for the most part, guys, it is the way that the team plays, the way that the team gets these chances, the spaces that the other players create for Lewandowski. And I think for the most part, he's underperforming, and that's why we're not winning. And that all boils down to the manager. So underperforming players is also a very big problem. Now, this is the biggest one, I think, arguably wrong with Barcelona, which is like you just saw, you know, too many touches for the players and slow ball circulation. Now, that pertains a lot to your shape. Your shape that you have is obviously going to determine how quickly you move the ball. If you look at teams like Atletico Madrid, their 4-4-2 makes slower ball circulation, right? It's good for playing on the counter. A team like Barcelona cannot play with a system like Atletico Madrid because we are not that type of team. That is why I was suggesting all the time we should play the single pivot, or at least the 2-3-5 situation, right? The 2-3-5 situation where you will see now where you have this circle around, you know, where you can get the ball from side to side, right? And then these guys in the middle are controlling the ball. In a shape like this, you can basically like have switching the ball constantly, right? If I want you to go do some research, go look at PSG's like average position map. Luis Enrique is doing this at PSG, where it's like a circle, right? So for an example, if Lamine has the ball, he passes to Romeo, or whoever plays there, he plays to Kunde, you can easily like shift the ball. But look at the 3-2-5 situation. Now, when you have this system, right, there's obviously these players missing in these two areas, right? Which means the pass now from Lamine to the centre back is longer and could easily be cut out. Or you obviously see a lot of times Barcelona do this, where the centre backs have to go to the touchline. But then these guys can move in here, which means we have to go back to the keeper, where the other guy can easily then press the keeper, right? So this is small changes and small problems, guys, that we experience at Barcelona. The 3-2-5 situation it's not working for us because we do not have like that quick ball circulation. And the other problem is, especially I've noticed this from Christensen as well. Christensen irritates me sometimes, where he'd take like 3-4 touches. If this ball is moving quickly, the opposition hardly has time to like get into position, get into like a suitable shape, you know. If the ball here moves quickly, then this guy has to go press, right? But because this guy's maybe taking too long, now this guy can already move there, and then he can easily press him easier, right? So if the one has to come out of position, the other one has to come out of position, the other one, where eventually you find the free man in space. But like I said, because we do not have the system, we don't have the structure to be able to progress the ball quicker and to make these unnecessary touches that we need, right? Because sometimes so unnecessary touches and more touches that players have to take is as a result of pressure or passing lanes that needs to be cut out. So now Christensen, for example, if he has the ball, right, he cannot immediately, excuse me for that, guys, he cannot immediately pass to Joao Cancelo because there's a passing lane being cut out to Joao Cancelo. So now he needs to take an extra touch. And that extra touch allows these other players to then press him. And this is where the pressure comes from. And that boils all down to the structure that we have. So I think you guys can clearly understand why I'm having a problem with the pivot. I will always talk about the double pivot. We should abandon it because that is the core of our problems. We don't have the structure to move the ball quickly, which forces the guys into extra touches, which allow pressure onto us. And that is just... I rest my case now with this double pivot. I think it's only appropriate if we do talk about Robert Lewandowski's problem at the moment, because him not scoring is like a huge concern for me, you know. So I really feel like Robert Lewandowski is way too involved. When we get to the final third, my man is too involved in what's going on, right? If the ball moves around, you know, Robert Lewandowski always find him in these areas where he wants to drop. Like, he's not Lionel Messi. This must be like a command or like something from Xavi. Xavi maybe advised him or commanded him to do this. But if you're not talented on the ball as a striker, why on earth would you do this, right? Just remain in these areas. Now, often you would see Robert Lewandowski moving, teams follow him or players follow him. Then you see the likes of Fermin moving in behind, and then Fermin doesn't get the ball, right? Even if Fermin do get into these areas, who would you prefer? Would you prefer Fermin to get on this ball, or do you prefer Lewandowski to get on this ball? So I feel like Robert Lewandowski is not doing himself any favors. He's way too much involved. He especially moves towards that left side. He's always finding himself in areas where he doesn't need to be. If your number 9 doesn't stay back, then if he drops, players now are free to like get into these areas. And we just talked about it a few minutes ago, where we said that if the guys do like run in behind and get into these areas, they often do not get the ball. I prefer Lewandowski to stay here so that will open up the half spaces for the free eights to move around in. Because these guys cannot now go out, because then Lewandowski is getting the ball in these areas. When last did you see Lewandowski get a ball through the half space in the final third? You do not see that. You don't see it because he's way too involved. Now, I understand if we were down here in this area, you know, maybe in the build-up phase, trying to build up from the back, that's totally fine. But I feel like when we are in the final third, I think Robert Lewandowski should just stay in between the center backs, and that will open up space for the other guys. So I think that must be like something from Xavi. Xavi must be the one who's like advising him or tasking him to run into the half space on the left side, especially close to Joao Felix. So that is another problem. Lewandowski is too involved in the final third. If you look at Erling Haaland in Manchester City, Erling Haaland doesn't even touch the ball. But when the ball arrives in the box, who's scoring the goals? Erling Haaland. So this is, guys, this is the core of our problems. And I think it's mainly the shape. And you can see it's having like this domino effect. First of all, we don't have the shape to move the ball quickly. Second of all, we don't pass the ball in behind the defense to get the guy on the byline. Even if we, let's say for example, Lewandowski do drop, right? And now all of a sudden, Fermin is making a run ahead. And now Lamine is getting the ball. You often see that Ferran Torres or the likes of Oriol Romeo or other guys always get quick first to the ball than Lewandowski. rather than him just staying in his position. If we do get to the byline, they can easily just give him the ball and then he scores. So that's another problem, guys. What do you think is the problem with Lewandowski? I would like to know down below. As always, guys, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about Barcelona's problems. We covered 12 problems in this first part video and the second one right here. But if you made it this far, comment down below European Super League. If you made it this far in the video, comment down below European Super League. But as always, guys, please do subscribe to the channel, as that's going to help us a lot to get the family to grow. We upload only content regarding FC Barcelona, and that is tactical content. So join the family if you're new around here. You might consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching the video. Goodbye. See you in the next one.